Hi, so this is all about Winds of Hope from your anthology. I'm on the prepare to read page, but y'all are going to open up your link right here to Winds of Hope. You can go through my book, that's what it's called, in Ed, and find the same pages that I'm looking at too. All right, so Winds of Hope is a magazine article, and they say it gives information, like it's an informational text. But magazine articles aren't always informational text. Sometimes they are um, nonfiction narratives. Sometimes they are um, full blown creative fiction, like in Highlights magazine. But this one is nonfiction, and this one is a narrative nonfiction piece. And magazine articles often tell events in sequences, in sequential or chronological order. So first this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And they have tons of visuals, like photographs with captions. And all of those photographs and all of the captions were put there to improve the text. They are also part of the text. So you're not just learning to read words, you're learning to read words when they are accompanied by pictures and captions. So let's go ahead and think about. Um, let's look at the title page. So we've got Winds of Hope. So we know that has something to do with wind, and it's by Katie Duffield. That's not necessarily important here. This looks like it could be a really rickety, handmade, hand constructed, may not be rickety, it could just be rusty, windmill. And I know that windmills are built to harness the energy in the wind, to use the wind's energy, and then to change that energy later on in the machine into electricity or to make water go. So I know windmills are used to change wind energy into other types of energy, and that's why they're useful for us. Winds of hope. Why would wind make you hopeful? So I'm thinking, let's see. This is what we have to set a purpose before you read. And you do that as a reader usually. So every time I pick up a novel, I want to. There's a reason I went for that novel. There's a reason I was like, I want to see this because I want to read this because. And let's say it is a book about with fairy tales, and I love fairy tales, and I love going into the world of fairy tales. But this one has a polar bear on it, and I want to know how can you turn a polar bear story into a fairy tale? So I have a purpose, I have a goal for my reading. This one, we're being told that we have to read it, so we have to find something interesting about it and a goal for reading. So let's see. This has something to do with wind energy and windmills. And the title says that there is hope in the wind. So maybe the wind energy from the windmill brings the community hope or brings the community power that they didn't have so maybe the wind energy from the wind brings people in this story energy they didn't have before. So now and you can see I have typos, but I'm not going to fix those right now. And right down here, we have critical vocabulary. All right, so let's click here to irrigate. Hold up, let me pause. All right, so in here we have critical vocabulary. You can see those in your book as well. They are all underlined as you read. So here we can see that there are none on this first open set. But here is irrigate. And if you click on it, it will give you a brief definition, but that's not very helpful when you have no clue what that word means. So I'm going to show you some cards. This is when you irrigate. This is when you provide extra water to your crops, the plants that farmers grow. I am personally irrigating my garden and my house. We irrigate the green spaces at hill as well sometimes, where we bury tubes that have water that can flow through them underground, just under the surface of the dirt. That's also a type of irrigation. So it's when you bring water to crops. An inspector, just like Sherlock Gnome or Sherlock Holmes, of course, is somebody who like looks at tomatoes and or somebody who works for the police as a detective. There are lots of different things that they are looking closely at, inspecting carefully to see, are there any bugs on this one? Is there part of this tomato already like eaten off? Because animals will do that. Then you have photographed. That one's easier. Photographed, it's a photo. You use a camera to take a photo, and this one's in past tense. Let's get down to prestigious. Prestigious. See, this child won a prestigious award. So it's something very impressive or important. Like if you ever win the Nobel Prize, that's very prestigious. If you go to certain universities when you, after high school, like Harvard, sometimes people will say that's very prestigious. It's really hard to get in there. Or if you're ever the president or a senator of the United States or another country, that's prestigious because that was a hard thing to accomplish. Auditorium. This is I think we've moved on to another one.